The debut story arc from within the Rippaverse, ill-advised from the Isom comics, it's coming to its dramatic finale with the announcement of the pre-order campaign for Isom number 3. Hi everyone, my name is Jacob Berry. Welcome to the StudioJake vidcast, where I talk about all things pop culture. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And if you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. So yeah, it's definitely true. What fans of the Rippaverse everywhere have been waiting for, it's finally in its pre-order campaign phase, that being Isom number 3 and the conclusion of the ill-advised arc. I am so excited for this. I was with Rippaverse from the very beginning. I participated in the first pre-order campaign, and every single release has exceeded and or met my expectations in a very positive way. So I'm very excited to see how Isom's journey, at least in this first arc, is coming to an end. Now, Eric July has already said there will be more Isom releases. This is just the conclusion of his very first story arc, again titled Ill-Advised. I'm so excited for this, and the campaign is already taking off in a bold new way. Who knows, maybe it'll become the next $1 million campaign. So this is what the story is about according to Rippaverse.com. The Rippaverse closes its ill-advised arc with the latest 144-page chapter of Isom. Avery Silman thought he had left his past behind, but when Darren Fontano sets his sights on his family, he has no choice but to step back into the fight. This time, however, Avery isn't battling a criminal empire. He's struggling with the very nature of his powers and is placed in a world that seems to be moving past him. As new threats arise and old tensions reach a breaking point, Avery Silman finds himself facing challenges that test both his strength and resolve. Meanwhile, Sidney Bloodruth's investigation uncovers unsettling truth that could shift the balance of power. With trust eroding and the stakes higher than ever, Isom 3 marks a defining moment in Avery's journey, forcing him to confront who he truly is and what he's willing to fight for. So for this one, Eric July is of course returning to write the short. The interior art is done by Cliff Richards, and the coloring is done by Sebastian Ching. And of course, it wouldn't be a Rippaverse release without 4 variant covers. Now, this is the poster, cover A, that has been teased all across the spectrum. When they first announced the project, they released this image, and this one is done by Kanan White, who is one of the Rippaverse colorists and art editors. This is sort of the throwback cover, cover B. It is done by Jack Hebert and Jay Brown. This one I really like. It goes into a sort of retro comic book mode where you've got, the lettering and, the text box, and you've got the number 3 at the top left-hand corner like you see in a lot of other comic books and sort of the 90s style. This is really good looking. Cover C by Will Conrad has Isom emerging from a tunnel, and in the forefront, and you can kind of see like this monster. And this one is kind of cool. It looks very dynamic. This goes back to sort of the old school look that the Rippaverse first released when this whole thing started. It looks really cool. I really like it. And I like how Isom, he's got his fist in the forefront. That's my favorite aspect of this. Cover C by Kao Kachu, I think. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Please let me know. Kao Kaku. I think that's his name. If I'm pronouncing that incorrectly, please let me know in the comments. But this design is really cool. This is cover D. I really like how it shows Isom's power as he punches the ground, and you see bricks and debris going everywhere. It looks really cool, and it really demonstrates the strength that Isom has. Which cover are you going to get and why? I'm curious about it. Let me know in the comment section below. And I just want to note, I think it's funny because the Rippaverse was involved with this lawsuit from a very interesting Christian organization claiming to have a school of ministry, although I think it was very unministerially of them to sue the Rippaverse over a name of a superhero, even though there was a ton of other school of ministries that used the same acronym as Isom. It was very dumb. And I remember when the Rippaverse unveiled their statue of Isom when he was younger, they called the statue Young Isom. And a lot of the critics of the Rippaverse were saying, oh, see, he lost the lawsuit because he's calling Isom Young Isom for the statue, even though we saw Young Isom in the comic books itself, and they were just releasing it as sort of a prequel to other statues. So I think it's funny now they've been proven wrong, because Isom 3 is not called Young Isom, it's called Isom 3. So It seems to me that in this lawsuit, both parties just decided to mutually end it. There was no winner, there was no loser. They just parted their separate ways. And I think that's really cool. I do think it was dumb of that ministry to do that. As a Christian, I find that very weird. For one thing, their ministry wasn't called Isom in itself, it was an acronym. And Isom is a name of a character in the Rippaverse. So the copyright and the trademark thing didn't really go with what the ministry was saying. They acted very inappropriately, in my opinion, as a ministry. But all the haters thought that they had Eric July, and it turned out that they didn't. Isom is still Isom, just like Miles Morales is Miles Morales, and Peter Parker is Spider-Man. Avery Silman is Isom. There won't be another Isom. And I think that's really cool. And I can't wait for this release to come out. I think it's going to be a dramatic conclusion. It's going to be the conclusion we've all been waiting for. And I cannot wait to read it. If you liked that video, be sure to give it a like, share it out to all your friends, leave me a comment, tell what you think, and subscribe. If you're watching on YouTube, ring that little bell so you get notifications when I post a new vidcast, and consider becoming a channel member. If you will be so kind, head on over to my website, StudioJakeMedia.com, where I've got articles and reviews on all kinds of pop culture topics, including comic books, anime, film, television, and so much more. Best of all, it's free. If you want to get notifications, you just do so with your email address. You just sign up that way or through the WordPress app. It's free and there are no ads. What do you have to lose? If you want to support the channel, head on over to my locals community. The link is in the description of the video. I have all kinds of articles there that are just for my locals community, so you can check those out. I also publish my short stories there. And like I said, you can do it on a monthly subscription, or you can send my articles tips. I really appreciate it. Thank you in advance. Speaking of stories, I have written and published 4 novels. I've got Cacophony, A Tale of Faith and Fear, which is about a group of angels and demons doing battle over the souls of a small Texas town. If you like paranormal activity or supernatural action, this is the novel for you. If you're more into sword and sorcery, check out my series, The Seven Royals. Book 1 is All Good Things. Book 2 is Breaking the Stars. It follows a group of your favorite fairy tale characters who have to defend their homeland against a dark army. Book 3 is on its way, and I'll have an announcement about that very soon. Last but certainly not least is my fantasy romance novella, Blessed Child. It follows an elf princess who discovers she's pregnant with a human baby. Let's just say the elves in the elf kingdom, they're not too happy about this, and it sends them into turmoil. Her father, the king of the elves, hires a human knight to be her bodyguard. The knight, he has been disgraced, but he's on the path of redemption, and he and the princess form an unlikely friendship. It is life affirming, and it is about courage under fire. Pick it up. You're going to love it. Get this one or all 4 at Amazon.com, and please leave me a 5-star review. It really helps out small indie creators like myself. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time right here on Studio Jake.